practiced a little earlier today, and I know there's prep for Europe going on, but you're still playing a couple games on North American time. So how are you balancing that? And
well, that was the, Jonesy asked that question last night in the scrum after the game, and we're trying to balance the present and the future. The future is way more valuable to us, obviously, those points in Sweden than the present is, yet our team has to prepare. So we've moved our practices back. We've tried to adjust our body clocks a little bit, not dramatically, but just a little bit. Put a little bit more stress on the body here early in the morning, day after a game, so that the players can begin to adjust, or at least think about it. What it does is it gets the mind to think about the time change and what it's going to feel like. Practice this morning is going to feel like what the practices will feel like over in Europe to begin with. A little sluggish to begin with, but there was some pace at the end. I thought the players did a good job of that. The lifeline for a number of players still exists, but it's shrinking by the day. So the games are still vitally important, and we expect everybody to perform as well as they possibly can.
Todd, what did you make of the competitiveness between the special teams units today? They seem to be bouncing, excited to be playing.
Well, it was all
important it is for them to push each other.
That was all done by design. A lot of times you see us practice special teams at the back end where there's a few jersey changes. We actually had a blue and a white team today, and they knew what was up for grabs. Special teams are a tough thing to practice. Nobody wants to take a shot or block a shot or anything like that, and often that's what disrupts power plays. That's what makes penalty kills effective. We tried to get a little bit more of that out of them today by competing against each other and having something to play for. And the guys had brought the energy. It was a good day to do it because of the 9:30 skate. We could have slept through it, but I thought we got something out of practice.
Is Rattie unique, or are there, do you think, a lot of guys like him in the minors who've been there for a while who could maybe, if given an honest chance, do what he's doing?
Well, I don't like to use the term honest chance. There's 31 teams in the league right now. There's a lot of teams that give people an honest chance. Let's not kid ourselves. And there's a lot of players that don't take advantage of it. So for me, the onus is on the player, 75–80% on the player. Some of it's on the staff and the team trying to put them in spots to contend or compete. Ty's done a real good job. He's got two good players with him. And he is desperate to stay in the league. When you combine the opportunity and the desperation in his game, we're getting and seeing some good results. And it rubs off on others. There's a real competitive spirit on that right side. I'd like to see that on the left side now, or down the middle, or on the blue line, especially on the blue line where there's some competition there. And, I think we'll see that happen and evolve over time.
Your penalty kill was strong to close out last year. Is it just a matter of integrating new personnel, or did you have to rethink what you're doing with it over the summer?
Well, we made some big adjustments last year around Christmas, not only personnel-wise, but systematically, and it paid some dividends. Our goaltenders played better, obviously, after that. That's a big part of penalty kill as well. Bringing the new staff in. I've been with Trent Yanni before. He's excellent when it comes to penalty killing, and very clear and concise, and it's been that so far in training camp. We've given up a few goals, 5-on-3 in particular, where we hadn't even talked about it, but we expect that to be much improved. Yet it goes back to the training camp theme too. Who are we? Were we the road penalty kill, or were we the home penalty kill? Like that's virtually unexplainable when you look at the numbers. So we hope that we're a complete, strong penalty kill no matter where we play this year.
Todd, just back to Ty, people maybe outside of Edmonton that cover the league would look in and say, at his point totals, and say, well, he's playing with Connor McDavid. But he's actually generated a decent amount not on the ice with those guys. Can you just address that part of him generating the offense while he hasn't necessarily been with them the whole time?
Yeah, well, he hasn't been on the power play with that group. He's been on a different unit. He's played nights when those two haven't, so he's been able to be effective with different line mates, and that's a real positive sign for him. So we've talked a lot about him. we all work into the equation where we are in the season. It's the beginning, but it's important for players like that to create some confidence and to feel good heading into the season. And he's done that now. I've seen players give it back quickly and, get comfortable and give it back. I don't sense that out of Ty one bit. I think he wants to continue to push it.
I got two. Your defense, you've got basically 4 guys left for the last 2 jobs. How are you on a defensive core of 7 that includes both Bouchard and Bear?
How am I with that?
On that, would you go ahead with those 2 guys in the same 7?
Well, we'll try and put together the best defensive group we possibly can, and if we believe it's Bouchard and Bear, then we'll do it. And we really have no other options. We're not there yet. We still have to figure out. I thought Jerebic played better last night than he had in games prior. Garrison had a good game. He didn't show up in hardly any chances against, and was a calming influence on the ice. So we have to weigh that into the equation as well. So we're not there yet, but if it happens to be those 2 young players to start with, then 2 young players to start with. That's what we have.
Do you have or could you tell us who's playing goal tomorrow? And is that backup spot still up for grabs with Koskinen and Montoya?
Well, I think they both deserve a chance to play here a little bit. Talbs will not even dress tomorrow. So the other 2 will dress, and we'll try and we're discussing how we balance that game out. Do we give the full game to one? Do we split it halfway? Do we split it 2 periods, 1 period? That position's important, and that position's important 3 or 4 players deep, not just 1 player deep. So they're going to continue to push each other, and much like the defense, we've got to figure that part out here in the next 3 or 4 days.